Hey, welcome everyone. This is HeroesHype Live episode number 13. Already getting up there. The old good luck number. My name is Halorin. My pleasure to be joined by Aether and our special guests for the evening. You guys know them as the EBros, EToby and EKevin. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty decent. Glad to have you guys here. May is it got gobbled up by traffic, so she might be joining us here in a bit. Perhaps not. I guess we'll see. But we will have to go on in our absence. She would be here if she could. But this is HeroesHype Live, an ongoing conversation with the Heroes of the Storm community about all things pro-am community, Hero League, Unranked, Quick Match, AI, Tri-Mode. All the latest Tri-Mode news right here.
That's right. All the bugs, all the fixes, all the anything that involves a twit longer, we're typically talking about it. We like twit longers, anything social media wise, right? I mean, we're there. We're everywhere.
And we want to get you guys involved in the conversation as well. So we frequently look over at the chat to see what you guys are saying. We want to bring you into the conversation. We see BBJ out here. He was a previous guest. Really cool to talk to him. Schizophrenia, he told me that's a lot like BBJ. Hey, it's a hey. That's
it might be related. They're both support players, you know.
Oh, confirmed. Is that the rumor? EToby, BBJ, y'all look similar because you just support.
I heard there actually was triplets, and then BBJ got separated at some point. Is this true?
Wow. No comment.
Oh, EBBJ out here.
You heard it first.
But I'm really glad to have you guys here on the show. I've had a chance to see you guys develop as competitive players in the hero scene for a while. And I remember the first time I ever saw you guys' name. Like at the end of each season, Blizzard releases stats on like the top 5 players or whatever and their names. And then like I was scrolling through the page, I was like, who is EKevin and EToby? Like, what is this? And y'all were just like at the top of like all these team league lists and everything. I was like, oh, all right. I guess they might be related. And then I saw you guys way back on Savage. And I was like,
Sick Nasty Savage.
Oh, Sick Nasty Savage.
I feel like this is a big reunion right now. Everyone that was a part of Sick Nasty Savage is right here in this call, you know.
Dude, I remember when I cast you guys and I dropped that phrase. I was like, oh, see, we got another one. We got us another one. Y'all remember that? I remember that.
That's when like this glorious meme was born.
Mm-hmm. I take personal responsibility for that one. TBH. But for those who may not know you guys too well, let's start with EToby. EToby, you want to talk about how you got into competitive gaming, how you rolled into the hero scene, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Nothing too special. I just got put into gaming from my influence of my brother and my dad, and I really like gaming, and I think I was a little bit more lax and competitive wise, but when me and my brother stumbled upon League of Legends is when I started to take gaming a little bit more seriously, and we played League for about 2 or 3 years, and after a certain patch hit, namely the Keystone Masters, we decided to move to Heroes of the Storm, and yep, we just been trying to go competitive for a while.
As they say, is history. I think it's really interesting. Okay, go ahead, Aether.
Well, I was going to say, I was kind of curious about the fact that you play games with both your brother and your dad. What kind of games did you play with your dad? Like, I've never really knew that your dad was much of a gamer.
I never really personally played with my dad, but my brother has. I remember he would tell me that they used to play Super Mario Brothers and like went together. But basically, literally every game I've ever played, I've played with my brother, and I think probably the earliest ones are just Smash Brothers.
So is gaming in your entire family? Does it go up even further? Did he play with his grandfather, and that's where that started, or?
I don't know too much about that, to be honest.
They were playing. They were playing Pong and Pac-Man.
I mean, when you got 2 brothers, it feels like it's like a dynasty or like a lineage. You know what I mean? Of EBros. It's got to go further, right?
Your dad and your uncle. they're the original EBros. The next generation EBros.
I never really thought about that, but you know what? Might as well make my sons and daughters do that.
Oh, see, Aether, we're changing lives out here, man. Heroes.
Toby, you actually can't. It has to go to the older brother. Like you gotta respect the lineage, right? It's
I
the
see,
older
I see.
brother has. You don't watch
I
Game
see.
of Thrones, clearly. I guess you just don't understand.
Rip. I mean, it is really interesting that you mentioned your dad. I feel like nowadays, like someone's in their 20s or something, and they're like, "Hey, I want to be a professional gamer." Like back when I was 20, damn, guess I'm kind of aging myself. But back when I was 20, if I said that to my parents, they'd been like, "What? Like, get the hell out of here." How did your parents respond to like, "Hey, we're gonna go play for college tuition, play a video game"?
Well, the entire idea of trying to go competitive in the game, my mom specifically really didn't like the idea, and just like every other parent, or at least older generations, they would say we're wasting our time and there's like nothing in the future for this. But when dorms came around, we've just been playing and we didn't really talk to them that much about it. But as soon as we got qualified for the top four, we told our parents because we're going off to Vegas, and when we showed them like proof, yeah, we're going to Vegas, they were a bit more chill. My mom was a little bit surprised and really chill about it, but of course she was like, be careful going off to Vegas, don't like get into trouble or get kidnapped.
You didn't tell your parents of what you could potentially accomplish until you already were qualified for Vegas. Like you didn't think maybe it crossed your mind like maybe I should give my parents like a heads up that I'm doing this and I might be going to Vegas and traveling to literally one of I would assume at least like a mother's nightmare, right? Like your young child's going to Las Vegas. Like that's like any parent's nightmare, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not really sure exactly what we told our mom after like the first round of we want to go pro, and she just told us waste of time. But
Do you remember at all, Kevin?
This was a while back. I told my mom we wanted to go pro in League of Legends, and she's like, "All right, show me proof." And we pretty much failed in that aspect. So like this time around, I was like, Toby, you know what? Let's not tell them about anything unless we've like actually accomplished something. So like that's our proof. Like let's just let our like accomplishments speak for themselves rather than like trying to play them up.
So
I respect that.
it just cracks me up because y'all out here stomping kids' dreams in Heroes of the Dorm this year, knocking them out of the playoffs, making it to the round of 64, not dropping a single game, being a dominant force in the entire tournament. And old E Mama's none the wiser until y'all get the plane tickets to go to Vegas. That's pretty ballin' right there.
She didn't think this was like a scam, did she?
like
No,
I,
like, oh, go ahead.
I will say
It's
the funny story is because I remember like our mom kept complaining about her computer being really bad. So my brother just comes up and tells her, "Don't worry, in like a few months, I'll get you a computer, or like we'll like give you our computers." And she's like, "Why?" And we just kept telling her to wait.
Just wait for it.
Yeah.
So you guys don't really, you guys really strike me as like some of the most chill people in the community. I'll never forget the day of the finals. We all get on the shuttle to go to the thing, and I get on there, and the EBros they're just chilling, like they're in the shuttle, just like, "Oh hey man, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, like you don't feel nervous, dude? Y'all are just cool as cucumbers in there." I was like, all right, these guys probably gonna win today.
I mean, I felt like we were prepared, and like I trusted my teammates, so I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to be nervous. Like if I just trusted my teammates well enough, like I think we had it in the bag. So it was more of me like being like mentally prepared for all of this.
It was an impressive journey that you guys had. I mean, you guys, for those who may not know, EKevin and EToby remembers a UTA who won this year's Heroes of the Dorm in rather impressive fashion. Definitely earned the crown. One thing that I did want to ask you guys, like, how did that team form together? Because UTA made it to the, the finals last year. The roster is decidedly different this go round. Like, how did Voltron reform, pretty much?
So after so the whole story is me and Toby started playing this game back in January of 2016, and that's when like all like the dorm stuff started happening. And I was like, yo, like I think I'm actually pretty good at this game, and I want to try playing from UTA. I didn't know UTA had a team or anything, but I was hoping for UTA to field the team. So I didn't know how to get into contact with people on campus. So like time goes by, I don't have a chance, and I finally figure out like UTA has a team, which was like Huge, Cure, Claudius, DXN, and Mist. And I was like, man, I wanted to try out for this team. This is my stuff. But after they got second place that year, that's when I told Huge and Claudius and Cure, I was like, yo, I go to this school too, so next year, let's all play together. And my brother's coming to UTA too, so like we can make a 5-man. And I told Kier about this first, and Kier was like, all right, we could probably do something. And then like Yuge and Claudius were like, I think we're pretty much gonna win next year, and like it all started from there.
So do you think if you were on that first roster, you guys would have gotten first?
Ooh, I'm not flaming DXN or Mist. They did pretty good, but I think actually I don't know. I was really new to the game because like DXN, I don't know if you guys know DXN. He never really touched the game before dorm either. So I think it would have been the same outcome either way, because me and DXN were relatively new to the game at that point.
Well, EToby wouldn't have been at UTA either anyway, right? At that point.
True. And they probably could have snuck him in though, right?
Probably could have snuck him. I don't know, I just think it's interesting. You guys obviously are brothers, so you play together often. It's funny, like when I look at my friend list, I'll be like, oh, they're both in the lobby for 4 minutes. Like they play a lot. So you go through UTA, you don't drop a game, you kind of walk through Heroes of the Dorm, and you decide you want to continue your passion competitively. How did that conversation go with you guys? And then, because you're on the Animals now, a team that set the, definitely make some waves in the playoffs. How did that team come together? Like, how did you guys decide to keep moving forward?
So this whole stint started back in way before Savage. I was on a team with some really old players like Wang Sing and Aragi. That's where me and Toby and I made our debut. And like we did pretty well during that time. And we were like, okay, like we did pretty well. Let's just like try to keep this going. So that's when Aether like came up to me and started this whole Savage Gaming thing. And like we did Savage Gaming, and there was a lot of unfortunate events, like the whole Blizzard announcement saying you can't play in like the HGC stuff as well as the dorms. So we made a choice saying we want to play in dorms. Like that's our priority, because like we're college students, and like having college paid for is a lot better for us in the time that we're in right now. So we chose to do dorms, and like after dorms finished, we're back. We're playing competitive. Toby really wants Toby back at Vegas after we won. Toby and I had like a very like serious one-on-one conversation about like what our plans are for the future for like Heroes of the Storm in general. And basically Toby says he had like a really strong urge to want to go pro in Heroes of the Storm because like this is his favorite game now. Like this is all we play. And I said, okay, sure. And I personally, I didn't know if I wanted to continue or not, because it's a really long explanation, but overall, I didn't think I was qualified enough. Like I wasn't good enough. But my brother talked me into it. He's like, yo, you should just play. And after a while, I was like, sure, I'll play with you. And basically, here we are right now with Animals, and Like we're planning to play in the next Open since we started so late for this one.
I mean, how I see that conversation going, Aether. EKevin's like, I don't know how I feel about continuing. EToby just like puts up a finger, he's like, hang on. Plays the beginning part of the Pokemon theme. Like, I wanna be the very best. EKevin's just like one tear sheds, and he's just like, I'm in.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Is that how it went? Is that how it went, guys? You can tell me. It's fine.
Pretty much, actually.
Got him. Toby, now if Kevin did decide, after winning Heroes of the Dorm that would be it. Like he didn't want to continue competitively. Would you have continued, and how would it have felt to go on without the other EBro?
I'll start right now what I pretty much told him before. I think my brother is pretty much the only way I actually get into the HGC at this point. Whether like he's actually playing or he's just like talking with me about the game and teaching me. Just because I think his actual insight on the game and his ability to critically think about things is just too strong.
It's OP, right? But I mean, we've had on stream before, right? People like Traded, who they talk about their bonds with their close friends and how it helps motivate them to want to do better and keep improving. So you guys, can you talk about, like, you guys have a whole nother level, right? You guys have a brotherly bond, How does that work in motivating you guys to want to keep improving and keep pursuing this dream of yours?
I wouldn't say we have a brotherly bond. I mean, I guess we have a brotherly bond, but like,
I mean, he's your brother. Like, what do you call it then?
I mean, like, I want him to succeed, of course, but like, I feel like I for a lot of people who don't know this, Ether is well aware of this because he's been exposed to us for a long time. I feel like we have more of like a teacher student mentality where like I'm trying to help him like get to like achieve his goals. Rather than like me just like trying to like encourage him and like, be moral support for him. I'm actually trying to like set up these goals and like help him achieve them.
So for anyone out there who watches Naruto, you're kind of like Itachi to his Sasuke, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe.
Well,
and then Aether's mic takes a tumble. See, the joke was the memes were too real.
You're a terrible person, Ether.
I'm sorry. That was a horrible joke. I know.
Oh,
I know.
no, it was good. I only watched up to about when Rock Lee got his like whole body broken, and I was like, all right. Well,
mm-hmm. But it's good that you've taken on the brotherly role to him, right? And I know that Toby might think other days where he's like, I wish my brother wasn't so hard on me all the time, always trying to teach me and stuff. But like, I wish I had a brother who was as invested in things that I cared about that you guys care about, right? So I think that's a really important thing you guys have going on there.
Have you guys always had that dynamic? Like you just really filling that older brother role and just like, this is how it is?
I'm gonna be honest. I just think I have some actual slight mental issue with myself, and I think I've just taken on an extremely very lazy like aspect of life, and like my brother.
Oh, so Kevin keeps you in check, right? He's like, wake up, go to school, get your work done. Like, does he just completely keep you in check like that? Because like, if he's not there, you're just gonna like mellow out, not do anything. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, pretty much. And I do have like slight anxiety problems, so there's that. And I just feel like and the thing about you saying like, sometimes I wish he wasn't as hard on me. I pretty much reached a point where I pretty much actually don't care what he says to me, or like he can like sit there for literally an entire day screaming at the top of his lungs and just explode at me, and I actually wouldn't really care too much because I know that
I was gonna ask what you guys do with, like, if you guys ever get in fights, brothers get in fights and stuff. So do you guys ever get in fights, any brotherly battles going on there, or doesn't seem like it?
The worst kind of fight we ever have is just us arguing over stuff about Heroes of the Storm. like
Oh,
which
okay.
like heroes are the better and like talent tiers, and like if I have a different opinion, he'll let thoroughly explain his side, and I pretty much just end up having no argument.
Toby be like, I want to go Tranquility Mount Furion. Kevin's like, no, man.
Have you ever said that, Toby? You've never said that, right? You never wanted to drink mouth, do
Yeah.
you?
No,
Bloodlust Rhaegar?
no.
Dude,
No.
Bloodlust they broke that out in EU in the Open Division playoffs today. It did work. Look,
I don't know.
y'all the animals, right? Los animales. Bloodlust fits the theme, man. Just consider it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so I'm curious how you guys are even able to really reform Animals, right? Animals is essentially just Savage 2.0 or Savage Resurrection. It was almost entirely the same roster, right? It was pretty close.
Pretty close.
So how did you go out and find Droplets and Evan Drinde and pull them back? Like, how did you convince them to come back and play Heroes of the Storm?
This is a little like PSA. Evan's not with us anymore, and like we decided to amicably part ways. So it's just me, Toby, and Droplets right now, and we're looking to fill in our last 2 slots. But for Droplets, like he's always been there for like with us. Like he's a really good friend of ours. He came back to HOTS because he was on a really long hiatus because of computer issues, and he was like, "Yo, what's up? I want to go HGC," and I'm like, "Okay, Droplets. I kind of want to go HGC too, so we can play together." And he's like, "Sure, hit me up," and that's how it started.
You played a Pokemon theme for him too? You can tell us. It's fine.
It was kind of like almost going to Pokemon, but it kind of felt short.
It was like 80% of the way there, and it's just like, all right, let's just form the animals, and that's fine.
So then how did you guys get in contact with Evan Drinde again, though? I mean, he had been gone for quite a while, right?
They had to go on a backpacking tour, man. They had to go find him.
I mean, I forgot how it all started, but I basically messaged him if he wanted to play, if he was interested in playing, and he said sure. And it wasn't really that complicated. I just asked him.
I thought it was like a coming together, like a Lord of the Rings kind of like, we went on past adventures together and we fought hard battles together. Let's all come back to finish our fight one last time. So it wasn't anything like that. You guys were just kind of just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, you guys want to play again? Okay, sure. That sounds good. Like, was that it, really?
Yep, pretty much.
Really inspiring. But you did say that you are looking for 2 new members to your guys' roster, right? Because you guys have 3 core members right now. So anybody who's out there in chat who is interested in playing a part of a really strong team, and what's your requirements? Is it you're looking for high grandmaster, or is there anything specific, or maybe what roles you're looking for, or what?
It's kind of hard to explain because I have a very extreme philosophy on this game. But for starters, I just want you to be calm and collective, take criticism, be at least decent to what my standards of decent are, and we can roll from there.
Sounds good.
So Kevin, are you also the shot caller, the overall? Would you say you're the leader of the animals?
I try to be.
Okay.
I feel like I have that excessive older sibling attitude when it comes to Droplets and Toby, just because I've been friends with Droplets for a long time now, and in the case where I try to be too commanding, or I try to be possessive about everything, whatever they do, but I try to tone down on that. I try to because before people were saying I'm too it feels like I'm too in charge of things. So I've tried to lay back and let other people try to do their thing. But overall, I feel like I am the main shot caller / drafter / the main it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the a big aspect of being a good leader is not always micromanaging everything. Sometimes it's taking the feedback and input and involving other thought processes, so everyone gets there's more buy-in overall, if that makes sense. So definitely sounds like that's part of the journey that you find yourself on. It's interesting to me though, because like, you know, you're the tank, Toby is the support, and from what we've seen of Droplets, largely he's like the solo laner. Like I know like his Sonya is one of the best in the region. And if he's still in the chat, like he's gonna, it's just true, man.
Yeah, every time he locks in Sonya, he even writes in chat like,
Yeah, like,
Sonya again,
Sonya's
Resident
good
Sleeper.
here, Resident Sleeper.
Oh my
Right.
god.
So I just think it's interesting to be in a position where like a tank and support are like, you know, the brothers and in a lot of ways the core of the team, and you need damage dealers. It's just like when you're looking for players, it's like you're asking for like a pretty big part of the team, to, like the damage dealers to show up. How's that dynamic really gonna work? Because like when I play tank and I feel like my damage dealers aren't really getting kills that I set up, like it feels bad.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for saying this, but I feel like we cycled through a lot of players to find the right fit. But I totally agree. I think it's hard finding like the right fit for us because like we want to try like either like new things like that does not pertain to the meta. Like you saw us do like that Lucio stuff way before like anyone did it. We did the 2-1-2 stuff. Like we're down to experiment and try to see like what is like, I don't want to say meta, but what is good against like what other people are doing. It's just that it's really hard to find the DPS or like the damage dealers to like follow up on like what we want to do or like what we think is the right call.
Now, you guys being brothers, do you feel you have the benefit of having something of like a hive mind aspect, or where it's like if you, Kevin, see an opportunity, you're playing ETC, you see an opportunity to slide in on someone, and let's say Toby's playing Malfurion, do you guys just have that synergy already to like he's gonna like Toby, you're gonna drop the root right after the power slide, like you guys have this understanding of how you both play to where there's no need for communication, but like someone that's not related to you like might be a little late on the memo? Have you run into situations like that?
Of course, 100% actually. We ran into some people that either like don't follow up or like some people that do other things, or some people, even if we call it, they're like, they think like it's a bad idea and just don't follow up in general, which is like, I think that's just like part of the quote unquote like journey we have to go through to find like the right fit. But overall, like it happens. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you guys are the core as a tank and support in the solo lane, right? I mean, I don't know, Halorin, if you ever have tried to form teams or go looking out to see what people are, like, what are they looking for? What do they need? Like, if you look at almost any time, like, an amateur team's putting something together, they're like, we need a support, we need a tank, and we need a solo. Because what does everybody want to play in Hero League? Like, when they get higher up in Hero League, they're all damage dealers. Doesn't matter if they should be playing damage dealers. Everybody is just DPS. It's interesting that you guys already have that thing that everyone's looking for right now. Like, what's in hot commodity, you guys kind of already have that. So hopefully you guys can find the right matching pieces, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You have the benefit of having a wide pool of potential players because, like you said, Aether, everybody and their mom plays support. Dude, I played a game the other day, and someone was like 5th, and they were like, hey, guys, I play every role but tank and support. And I was just like...
so then you just play damage, okay.
You know, I try not to BMP way. I kind of yuck it up with him for a little bit there. It's just like, dude, you understand that just means, like, why would you even offer the subterfuge of I play all these roles in it? But actually, I just play DPS. Laval says, plus being brothers and always playing together, the synergy and trust is there. Yeah.
Is there trust there? I know we said that Kevin believes there is, but Toby, do you always trust Kevin no matter what he does? Like, are there some slides or some stuns that he hit that you're just like, this guy's insane? Or is it every single time you're like, I see what he wants to do and it makes sense?
Recently I've had a little bit of problems just trying to keep up with everything that's happening because of us trying to find certain players. But whenever I am doing well and I'm on my A game, yeah, I pretty much always follow up on my brother. If he says something, like we need to invade, I'll pretty much just echo him. I try to echo him, say, yeah, we should invade. We should try this. And if he goes for a slide, I'll just follow him. And I don't really see the consequences of whether he slides in or not.
That's
I pretty much have
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah, I just have blind faith. Because, I mean, it's in the game. And in the moment, I don't really think too hard about anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now we've had a couple of support players on here. We've had Dreaded, a damage dealer. I think this is the first time we were really featuring like a dedicated tank player.
We've had Casper on here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, dude.
13 episodes, man. It's a lot of episodes.
Fair. I'm curious, EKevin, what you enjoy most about tanking in the competitive sense, because I would consider myself to be a tank main, but I just kind of fell into it. I had a very short stint where I was playing competitively, and the team that I was on when we formed together, like I just ended up being on the tank role, and I was just like, okay, like this is fine, I guess. But I ended up kind of enjoying it. But is that the same story for you, or is it something that you were like, I want to be a tank?
Back in Savage, I used to play flex, and I've pretty much cycled through every role. Like the first team we were on, I played range. For Savage, I played flex, or the team before Savage, I played melee. For Savage, I played flex. And I want at that part after Savage broke up, I was still playing like melee / flex ish, and that's when UTA started to get together, and we're like, okay, we were assigning roles at that point back in like January of this year, and pretty much everyone was like, you know what, Kier on range, Claudius on melee, Kevin on tank, and I'm like, oh. I've never played tank before. Are you guys okay with this? And they're like, oh, it's okay. You can learn. You're a melee player. Like melee players can play tank easily. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. And I didn't really play tank other than like ETC and Hero League. I didn't really know what to do in a competitive aspect for tank, so it was just like all uphill for me. Like I had to learn like a lot of things like straight from the get go. At first, I didn't really like tanking at all, to be honest. I thought tanking was like, it's not that it was boring or like it's not a role suited for me. Well, I thought at first it wasn't a role suited for me because I was just like really bad at it. Like I would make the wrong engages. I would position poorly. Like I was just getting frustrated with my own play, and I just thought, man, like I'm not a tank player. Like this isn't me. But after a while, like I started getting better. Like I made drastic improvements over the course of the regular Heroes of the Dorm season. And after a while, I was like, okay, I'm okay at tank. Like I'm like this isn't bad. I still rather play like other roles, but like I don't mind playing tank at this point. And I still have the same sentiment. Like I don't mind playing tank. It's just like it's not my favorite role.
Okay.
If that
so
makes
then,
sense. Yeah.
when you joined UTA and they made that decision for you, because it doesn't sound like you made that decision on your own. They're like, all right, buddy, you drew the short straw. You got to play tank. Were you like, why can't Claudius play tank? But like, when that was going on and you were trying to learn tank, right? Did the team help you, right? Like, I mean, because like we saw you at dorms playing, right? At least in the Final Four, and even people watching on Facebook Live. If you had told me I'd never played tank before this tournament, I'd be like, well, that's insane, right? Like, this guy's doing really well, right? He's like undying. If he does die, the team immediately wins the fight, right? So, how much work would you say you put in to be to that, or to get to that level of tanking, right? And if you had any help along the way.
I didn't really have any help per se. Like we would do a lot of scrims with other teams. During the scrims, at the very beginning, I would say like the teams like we played against were pretty like they were like the amateur teams back in like open. So that was a good entry point for me for like, okay, this is okay, this is like my first test. Can we like beat these amateur teams in scrims? And I learned a lot actually. Like the team didn't really like we as a much to everyone's like thoughts about our team. We didn't really like work together we worked together as a team in terms of like, hey, you need to brush up on this, or like, hey, this hero is good, like you need to learn this hero. But like individual play, it was pretty much everybody had to work on it their own. Kier didn't just sit down with me and say, hey, like let's go over VODs or whatever, and like let's go over like what you did wrong. It was more like I had to understand. It was like on my own time for me to get better. And like during scrims and like during team talks, like we just got better. Like we just reviewed. We didn't really review. We just talked about like how to get better as a team, rather than like how can you get better on this, or how can I get better on this. So I would say like for the majority part, like my development as a tank player was largely on like me like learning it from my own perspective.
So you popped the Rocky montage, right? And you were like,
Got him.
and you just completely practiced it and you're ready to go.
Did you just do the saxophone guy music?
Yeah, I did the wrong song. I like that song though, the saxophone one. So
Wait, hang on.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So we're there. All right. Toby, a similar question. Support isn't exactly a role that everybody and their mom wants to play DPS. For you to filter over and lock in that support role, did you play that in League? Is that just a transition, or is that something you had to work your way into as well?
I remember at the beginning I wanted to try jungling, and at that point Shaco was kind of a troll pick, but I would love Shaco. And that didn't work out so well, to be honest.
That is the worst thing to say.
Hey, he's good now. Anyways, but my brother was like, you know what, just play support and I'll play ADC. I'm like, okay, let's try. And after a while, I literally hated playing anything else that isn't support. I hated playing ADC, top, jungle, and mid. And I pretty much knew it. I just had that mentality. If I play any other role that isn't support, we instantly lose. I don't want to play anything. So I pretty much just play support in every game we play now.
What do you enjoy about being a support?
In League, it was just because I had most of the CC, so I can engage or I can peel off people. And like the moment where I actually saved someone, it felt a lot more satisfying than anything else I've ever done. And in HOTS, just sitting back and just pressing one button. And everyone's like, oh my god, look at Ancestral! Whoa!
I mean, they were good Ancestrals. I don't know. The whole time when you were hitting all these sick cleanses, like, you're hitting all these like dirty cleanses, sick Ancestrals, D shields. You mean the whole time as everyone's like, oh man, that was insane. You were just like, click. Like you didn't care. Like you never got excited about doing that kind of stuff.
In the beginning, it was exciting, and then after a while, I pretty much made that. In my mind, that's pretty much just how every good support player should do. They should always be able to hit their cleanses.
You hold yourself to a really high standing, is what you're saying. Yeah. That's the bar for me. What everyone else gets excited for, that's base.
Right. That's the Toby bar. I mean, you try to oversimplify it, but I remember one night we streamed some Team League. It was me, the EBros, Slag and Saw. I forget who the fifth person was. I don't have a good memory for that sort of thing. But it was on Infernal Shrines, and the EBros Aether were down in the bot lane on Ariel and Vala, just casually 2v5ing this entire team. And I was just
I was there. Yeah, they do that.
That's mechanical skill on a whole different level. We're over here. The rest of us are doing the objective. I'm like, well, where's Toby and Kevin? Look down, and they're just pushing the bottom keep wall like it's okay. It's just like
the best part is when you're playing Team League with them and they're doing that. Like you're like everyone else who's your core 3-man's like, okay, shove the wall, start the thing, get the camp. Everyone's talking, and then it's all you hear is like, heal in 3. I stunned him. Okay, he's dead. Okay, that guy's dead. I'm gonna roll in. Okay, heal in 2. Okay, he's dead. All right, we just killed everyone. You guys can get the objective. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks. Like I don't know.
Like, oh,
they're crazy, man.
Like, got the core. Like, oh,
I mean, these guys single-handedly removed duo queue from Hero League. If it wasn't for them, duo queue would have stayed in. Just saying. Because like you guys had like an insane like the early, we talked about this before, the preseason stats, they were insane, right? The like who is the highest win rate duo with like the most kills and everything. When they saw that, they were like, we got to get rid of this. We can't let them do this thing. They're killing everyone.
You guys killed duo queue?
I want to say that, but everyone didn't like playing against us in preseason.
Nobody liked us because we just ran ETC Monk when nobody thought it was good.
Yeah. Back in the day, there used to be just Reddit posts on Reddit posts on Reddit posts about how I ran into EToby and EKevin again. I ran into EToby and EKevin again.
Serious?
And it's not fair. It's not fair that they can duo queue and master, and then Blizzard would literally respond with like, we've looked at statistics and duo queue actually isn't affecting anybody's win rate as a grand margin, right? But then Kevin and Toby's win rate was really high, and the fact that it was also throwing off some MMR in their games, right? Because they had to somehow balance two really high MMR players in one game. So then they got rid of it. I'm saying they've never said it's because of EToby and EKevin, but it's because of EToby and EKevin.
Y'all killed duo queue? Cause dude,
Yeah.
I remember seeing the page. Like I remember seeing the page. EKevin and EToby were always at the top. I was just like, damn. But I didn't know y'all's reputation preceded you to the point where y'all were setting Reddit on fire.
Mm-hmm. You guys happy about that? You proud of yourself?
I'm
Respect.
feeling something from it.
Respect. Oh. Respect. So all right. I didn't know we were hanging out with the murderers of duo. Yeah, right, Phoenix. Murderers.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Now they're forced to go into team league, where then all you see is Reddit posts of, we just queued into a 2 and 3 man matchup where they're GM 1 and 2, and we're all in placements or silver players. So congratulations, you then are trying to kill team league as well.
I said I'd be tooting my horn. If I killed duo queue, I'd feel pretty good about them. Take a moment.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
Why? But like duo queue was so good. Like
I'm
wanted
so good at the video game. Blizzard, the makers of Heroes of the Storm, assessed my play and was like, we have to fundamentally change the way this ranking system works. Because 2 dudes whose name starts with E are shattering the mold.
But by the way, though, as many people have wondered, what does the E stand for in EBros?
The real investigative journalism. Here we go.
It doesn't stand for anything. We were making
for everything, right? The E stands for everything.
Nah, man, it stands for esports. Come on. In a serious note, it doesn't stand for anything. When we first made accounts on League of Legends, we were like, we gotta, because like that's when like we saw all the pros and stuff, right? The Korean pros, they had like cool names, right? Like 1-word names, and we tried really hard to think of something, but then like, you know, I think that's the hardest part of a game, like thinking of a cool game name, right? But we pretty much gave up, and we're like, let's just do Kevin and Toby. But that was taken, right? So we're like, let's do something with Kevin and Toby, and we thought about it. We thought about adding letters to it, and like E just looked good, like aesthetically.
You just stopped at one letter, and it was just E. And you guys never said what that E might mean or why we chose the E, or just like why not EKevin and EToby? Or would Apple get mad at you for that? So you're like, we got to go E, or
that's part of the fun.
It's part of the fun.
You know, just imagine, what if we picked O?
There already are
Toby.
O brothers. We already have. I mean, O would have been good, but
Exactly.
there already were O brothers. So sorry.
I empathize, man. I've had the name Halorin since I was 16. I haven't changed it. I'm not reinventing the wheel. You kidding me? I'll be.
That's impressive.
A. Albert.
A. Albert. So another big question though for Kevin specifically. Okay, so Lauren, I don't know if you know this, but I think you're actually in this Discord as well. But Kevin and Toby have one of the largest Discords for the Heroes of the Storm community. Some of the top players that are in this Discord, right? Some of the highest players of the amateur scene, or somebody who's involved, a streamer, whatever. You know, the Hotline Bling is an infamous Discord, and I believe it was a good while ago that he had separated all of these players into different Hogwarts houses between Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, I can't remember the other one, Ravenclaw. And so the biggest question everyone had though was, when is the House Cup tournament gonna happen? So Kevin, as Dumbledore, when is the House Cup tournament gonna happen?
You can't see it right now, but like I'm like stroking my non-existent beard right now. Details are tentative. I want to start something like a House Cup for the community. It's just like the timing is like a little rough since the HGC, like the off season clashes with a lot of other things as well. But I really want to do a House Cup where like it's streamed, like there's gonna be like fun gimmicky things that are going on. Like I want to do like a charity kind of thing where like donations happen and all the proceeds go to like a charity, and like each like you can like this is kind of like I've been working on this for a while, but this is like some of the things you guys might see later on in the future. Like each team will have like a representative, like Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Gryffindor will each have their own representative, and like they'll have like, I don't know how big it's gonna get, so like that's what I'm working in with this right now. But like each team will have like a specific like charity that they would like do, and like people can donate to like each team or like other stuff, and like like this will build like basically a prize pool for like a huge charity kind of thing. And it should be fun. Like I've been investing a lot of time into this, and I've been like trying to think of a good way to like format this and stuff, but I really want to do like a huge community thing that involves streamers, pro gamers, amateur people, and like, you know, community representatives, like bring all of Blizzard together, like, and have like a fun like in-house, not a league, but like a small like little tournament. And yeah, and all the proceeds would be beneficial for like everybody. I don't know, it's just like a small side project that I want to do, but I definitely want to start like getting the ball rolling on that.
Do it before 2018 HGC, like like January or something like that.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. I'm not too sure though.
Silver FB 2031. First time they say anything in the chat, they're like, "What's the Discord link? I need in on this." So you got some community interest, man. There's a bunch of us in the chat here that our interests are piqued.
I mean, some of the people in chat are already placed in houses. Some are still being sorted. Mr. Slack and Salt still needs to be sorted, as he says. Argy was actually what was it, Snape? He was the head of the Slytherin household. I do want to address though why Ravenclaw is the most stacked house in existence. Maybe you might want to consider breaking that up a little bit, but that's just me. You know, I'm in Hufflepuff, so feeling a little bad,
a little salty,
that's
PJ
okay.
Salt.
Not a big deal. We'll get through it.
Saying.
This I will say this. I don't think stackness matters, because I feel like I'm gonna do Heroes in a twist kind of way. Like I'm gonna make it fun and exciting both as a viewer and as a player. Like there's gonna be like, so you know, in
sport games.
Maybe you know how there was like Quidditch matches, and like there's different ways to win the Quidditch matches, either their points, getting the golden snitch. I was thinking of implementing that kind of style as a HOTS, whereas like there's gonna be like a point system, as in like let's say for Dragonshire, like every time you get a Dragon Knight, that's like certain amount of points, and like points accrue like during the season to like the houses, and the house with the most points gets like X amount of things, or like gets prizes, or et cetera, et cetera.
I like it, cause you know there's the Cursed Hollow sandbox map. Then the new map got a sandbox as well. So I don't know, you might be able to play around with some stuff like that and get some interesting shenanigans. But I do like the idea of a point system on Dragonshire.
Yeah, you got to keep it fresh. Got to keep it entertaining, man.
I like it.
Devils are trying to see. I've been watching the EBros for a long time. Can't wait to see them on an HGC team. Good luck, fellas.
Yeah, hopefully.
Any words to your fans?
Oh, whoa.
We're trying really hard. Hopefully we make it. I really want it. Toby really want it. Toby really wants it. So like we'll get there eventually.
I got
like
a question now. I'm gonna precede this question by saying, I got love for everybody. I am not one to incite any kind of drama or any speculation or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my question. So, if before iDream joined Naventic, if EToby and EKevin were swapped in for Kinma and B-Kid, would Naventic still be Naventic?
Snap. There it is.
Because I always thought if y'all were on that roster in some form or another, that would have been a pretty boss roster.
I hold like nothing but respect towards Zuna.
I know. I get it.
No, I told Toby because like the whole Kenma thing. I told Toby because Toby really wanted to play with me back then, and I said Toby like out of all the players in NA, I respect Zuna the most because of his history in esports and like just because of his personality. I got to interact with him through like Discord and stuff, but like he's a really cool dude, and like that just shot my respect for him like even higher. So I said Toby, I was like, Toby, listen, like real talk, if Naventic offers you a spot, I would highly suggest you really think about joining them, and because this all stems from my utmost respect for like Zuna and like Biggie. Like those are the two players that like I have a lot of respect for in the Heroes community. So I don't know. I honestly had that idea too. Like what if Toby joined them? But like, stuff happened. It would be really cool to see Toby play because I don't know if like any of the viewers remember, but a while back when Tomster's computer was like DC'd or whatever, Toby subbed in for one game for Naventic. And even though they didn't win, I think Toby did a stellar job, and it shows like Toby has potential to be on an HCC team.
I mean, I would like my question posed, I would throw you in there as well. It just seemed like around that time, Zuna was tanking for a while. It just seemed like there was some structural coordination things going on there. And I was just like, if you put in a solid tank and support in there that already have built-in synergy, that team would be insane. And I was like, the EBros would lock in there like perfectly for you to be like, I got all this respect for it. I don't know. Like I said, I got respect for everybody involved. It's just when you think about like dream team scenarios, I don't know. It would have been.
Well, I want to extend that question too, but I want to ask you guys. You don't have to play the roles that you're currently playing or roles that you might be currently listed as. But if you could join any HGC team, NNA, sorry, can't go to EU. No imported madness there, right? But if you could join any NA team, which one would it be and why?
Toby, you can go first.
First of all, darn, I could have been an actual imported support. Anyways,
Guess you've been exported support. By that logic.
I'm not really sure which team I would join. I'm not really sure what to base it on because I'm not sure how I really view the teams overall. But if I had to base on just which team I probably would like playing on more, it would either be World 20 or Team Freedom. This guy's either World 20 because I really like Buds and Justin, so as people, and Team Freedom because they probably have the only other person I really like, and it's Cure.
Okay.
All right.
Kevin?
That's a bit of a toss up for me. I view like I'm very like strict. Like in competitive gaming, I'm really strict with Toby.
Okay. It was
So, oh, go ahead.
Oh shoot, sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm really strict with everything. So like I don't like. Someone asked me this question before actually, and I thought really hard about this, and I thought to myself, I would only join a team where I think I would make a positive influence, in such that like we could be like a really strong team, right? So I think I told him I would want to be on like, um, I would definitely want to try to be on Lag Force just because of like the overall atmosphere. They're really cool guys. I know they're really good players. And they just have so much experience that you can like just learn the game off of. It's either Lag Force or I think Roll20, because I'm really good friends with Justin and Buds, and they've helped me through a lot of stuff, both in game and both in game and like mentality wise as a gamer. I don't know. They're really cool guys. They inspire a lot of people, and I can see why. So it has to be Roll20 or Lag Force for me.
Wow. It's really cool to hear that, we get some insight towards the behind the scenes interactions, because like I say to Aether and May a lot, it's like, we see just 10 names moving around on the screen, like when I cast, and Aether, you definitely get more of an insight, to the actual lives of the players, given your tenure. But it's always interesting to me. Like, I would have never known that Justin had that kind of impact on you. So I always appreciate instances like that where the concept of esports gets humanized, and it's like, look, I grew as a person. I think we really jumped into Draded's head the other episode, and I was like, esports kind of changed your life. He was like, I guess it kind of did. So I don't know. I just think that's cool.
Would you say that your experience in Heroes of the Storm has made you a better person, Kevin?
I don't know, but I do know for one thing, I made a lot of good friends, and it's been an enjoyable experience so far.
That's good. What about you, Toby?
Depends on your definition of a better person.
Oh, getting all philosophical. Okay.
No, not really. I know more memes.
Yeah, of course you're a better
That
person.
doesn't sound too bad.
But yeah, I met a lot of people, and I'm pretty happy with what I've done so far.
Okay.
I'm not satisfied. I'm not gonna say I'm satisfied, but
Never satisfied. So I'm gonna ask you a pretty deep question here, Toby. Now, I truly appreciate the vulnerability and express. Say, like, you got some anxiety and stuff like that. I struggle with that too, man. I got into casting to learn how to talk to people. To be honest, to be more outgoing and social. Would you say that your time in the Heroes of Storm community has helped you on that front, like to handle the stress that comes with anxiety and be better prepared to deal with it?
No, not really.
No.
I don't know. I think just
Not even a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's just if I'm not exposed to something to distract me, and then I'm like confronting just something that stresses me out a lot, then I'll just kind of go into panic a little bit. Because like for Heroes of the Dorm, we were on stage, and pretty much the only thing I was focused on, I'm playing on a really nice computer, and like having a really nice monitor at 144 hertz, and just playing
Memes.
and beating up some kids. But pretty much all that distracted me from what if I lose, what if I mess up, or any other kind of stressful thoughts to have.
Well, going down that road, what if you guys did end up on different HGC teams? Like, how would that affect the whole anxiety thing? Because you got your older brother throughout the major chronicles of your esports career. Someone, since you've been on this planet, has existed for you in a mentoring capacity, literally. So you get onto a team. Let's say you did join Lag Force, then Aventic. They reach out to you, and Kevin's like, dude, you should definitely do it. Like, this is a great opportunity. You should do it. And you do it. How does it feel to not have the other EBro there? How do you think that would go?
After the first time my brother talked to me about getting on a team without him and, really thinking about it, I'm pretty much fine with the idea of not playing with my brother. And I mean, if he got on another team, then, I don't think I would really care so much halfway through the matches. And I would just try my best to win.
Well, didn't you guys, when you subbed in, didn't you guys duke it out? Weren't you on opposite teams at one point? I feel like that was a thing.
Yeah, I was playing for HHE and Toby was playing for import support.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember at some point that was going on. How did that feel?
It was an interesting experience.
You guys didn't like personally do stuff to each other, like if Kevin missed a slide or if you cleansed too late, you guys weren't B-stepping each other or anything like that?
No,
nothing.
It was interesting in a different aspect. Not even like because we're playing against it, just a completely different aspect that I'm not gonna say, but
if you watch the games, there's a very specific thing I did throughout all games. I aimed for Toby every single time, no matter what hero I was on. It was so funny.
Yeah, I mean, even then, that kind of attributes to what was pretty interesting about that game. But
and you were nervous to B-step him, right? Because then he'd just get up out of his chair, walk over to your room, and just punch you. Like, he just give you that real older brother love, right? I understand that.
Schizophrenic say we're losing BRB, unplugging Ethernet. Damn.
I'll take out their healer. And
both EBros leave the game. It's just like, oh, someone just torpedoed the whole internet there. Damn.
Yeah, but I don't know. Overall, I'm pretty much fine with the idea of playing without my brother. It's just, I actually feel like at this point, it'd be a pretty interesting miracle if any team kind of extended their hand to me for an offer. Because the way I see it, I think every HGC team is doing pretty well with, but as far as like, having anyone doing poorly or anything like that, like Tomster switching to support. I think Tomster is actually starting to become a really good support.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they still haven't really tweaked out, what their team is, what they're actually going to do with the team and the structure.
I mean, it's interesting to me to hear you say that, like, because on one hand, you guys are Heroes of the Dorm 2017 winners. Through the course of almost a quarter of the year, you didn't drop a game against anybody in this tournament. But on the other hand, you're like, I'd be surprised if someone would pick me up. Kira's on that team. He's going to BlizzCon this year, man. You were on that level. So do you see it more as the separation between the collegiate and the professional level? To have that kind of success at the collegiate level and then be like, I don't know. Or is it more like your own personal assessment of you?
It's a little bit of both. I will say that I just don't know what kind of level the collegiate tournament was overall for at least the top four. It's kind of hard to gauge in my opinion, but personally, I just think maybe I could outperform some of the supports in HGC. I don't know, because it's kind of also hard to gauge the support players in HGC, except for supports like Buds and Illusion. So, I'm maybe I'll do better than some of the supports. At least half of the time. I'm not too sure. I think it's more I'm just being a little bit too hard on myself, but I just felt like I haven't done exactly anything to really show how good of a support I am, just other than dorms.
All right. What do you think is going to take? Like a roaring success in the open division, some kind of consistency there, walking through HeroesHype tempo storm, maybe.
Interesting, but I just think, I just need to get better. At this point, it doesn't matter if I'm trying super hard and to make HGC teams notice me and make me think, maybe maybe we should try him out and see if he's better. I support him. Like, anything like that, I don't know. Like at this point, I just want to overall get better because I know I'm, I might have the mechanical skill, but my knowledge about the game is pretty subpar overall. So I just want to work on, everything about supporting.
Phoenix Sniper in the chat said 90% of collegiate teams are booty. Maybe more.
I did say top. I don't know about the level at the top 4. So
Those atrocities said they're not dropping you, droplets. Don't go. Don't. It feels good, man. Don't do that. Devil's Try said, I've seen EToby do some crazy stuff on Kerosene, man. The dude deserves a spot. Now, like I said to you guys before we started this episode, we just kind of talk about whatever. But I always feel like these conversations end up getting way deeper than our guests originally planned. So with that said, I'm gonna offer you EBros some advice. You ready?
All right, hit me with it.
If you're not confident in yourselves, you cannot reasonably expect anyone to be confident in you either. If you want to join an existing HGC team, in a lot of ways, you're a salesman. You're making an argument for your position, for your ability to increase the overall success of the HGC team. And I was actually thinking about this a lot last night because someone that was in the chat earlier, Enigmatic, had asked me what advice I would give them. And if I'm looking for a new player, if I'm looking for a player to join my team, if they're not sure of themselves, even on a subconscious level, I might be like, well, if they're not confident in their ability, how can I reasonably be confident in my own? So I would say, before that conversation comes, what HGC, how do I join an HGC team, stuff like that, take time to look in the mirror and just find confidence in your own abilities. Because I can say, as someone that's seen you guys since the Savage days, you most certainly have the technical ability, the game knowledge, the know-how, the understanding to be a top-performing HGC either pair or individual players yourselves. But if you don't believe in yourself, you're only shorting yourself.
And if that doesn't work, then just believe in the me that believes in you.
And play some Pokemon, man.
Play some Pokemon.
I do love Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. He does.
That's the response. I try to put my coaching pants on and be that inspiring guide, and he's like, I do like Pokemon. Schizophrenia said, you gotta market yourself like former teammate Cures picked up because there was hella hype around them. But see, while I feel like Cure is a very humble person, there was a different kind of hype around him. Like, I feel like EKevin and EToby, you guys aren't really hype guys. You guys just low. Like, I'll never forget sitting in that shuttle with you heading over to that pavilion center. Y'all were just. I was like, these guys this is just Saturday to these guys. Like, it was just the most casual. I was like, they know they're gonna win. They're just sitting over here like they're just thinking about what they're gonna have for dinner.
They're like, hey, so after we win 75 grand, do you want to go get sandwiches? Like, okay, sure. That sounds good. That's really casual, man.
You gotta be, or maybe we flip the script, Aether. Maybe this is when we make them the most hype pair in Heroes. We get a
EBros for president.
Yeah, we get EToby. We get him a backwards hat, some sunglasses, gold chain around the neck. Like, he's just like full meme mode. Like, meme.
I'll run your guys' Twitters for you. There you go.
Right.
Like,
we make Toby the dank meme champion. Just like oh, the memes are too dank. And then the EKevin, he just becomes the unstoppable beast. Like, I don't drop games. I ain't drop a game all here. I'm like, maybe that's what we gotta do for these guys.
Sounds like a good idea.
You see how quiet they are right now, though? Because that's that's not their move.
They're just humble guys. I've known them for a while, and they're just very humble guys, and I admire their work ethic. Right, I think that the one thing that they do really well, and I mean, I hope HGC teams look at that. They look at a group of guys that can adequately assess their situation. I mean, sometimes it might be a little hard on themselves, but I think in some cases that's a good thing, right? When you set goals for yourself, you're always trying to improve. You're always looking to improve. I think that's something that a lot of teams lack. Just people who are like, I'm not that good. I'm not the best player in the world, And how do I get there, right? So I admire that's the way they kind of approach things. But you're right. I do think they do sell themselves short too many times.
There's a balance in the middle of all of it. Harry Augie actually raised a really interesting point. 6 months too long without roster swaps, in my opinion. And we've talked about potentially shifting some of the structure of the HGC as far as frequency of the Crucible, things like that. EBros, how do you guys feel like 6 months is too long without a roster swap?
This is getting too political for me, but I feel like this is like both a good and bad thing. It's a good thing that Blizzard's trying to make it more stable, but I think it's also a bad thing because it kind of like gates out or limits out like potential players that could be picked up or swapped out for. Like I think a growing concern within the Heroes community is like the same people. For like the last 2 years, you've seen the same faces in like the top 8. And that's been a growing concern for a lot of people. And I feel like having no roster swaps and like a possibility of a roster swap is kind of like limiting that and like kind of enforcing that, hey, like we're going to see these like X amount of faces for the next 2 years without any possibility of like a new face or a new team coming in.
I gotta agree. I mean, there's good and bad to everything. And I think at least through the first half or so of the year, the positives of the HGC were immediate and apparent. The stability of the rosters creates a narrative that overall makes competitive Heroes of the Storm a more engaging prospect. Mm-hmm. But I think there is something to be said for the potential static nature of things as they sit. Last year, you had the whole roster apocalypse, meme kind of thing going around, but it was kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes each regional. It offered a lot of promise and potential to the teams that didn't make it to the regionals. Like, if I didn't make it to the spring regional, the summer one's like 3 months away or so. If you're not on an HGC team this year, you got like a half a year.
Yeah, it's a really long time. I mean, the big thing to me though is that when you look at these rosters and what's the whole point of what a roster swap should do for you, right? It should either it should really just improve your team, right? So I think it is a little upsetting that we can go to a phase 1 of a season where they go and play at the the Western Clash, right? So all these top level teams can see and assess themselves. How good am I compared to Europe? How good am I compared to China or Korea? That kind of stuff, right? And if you're just like, well, our roster isn't cutting it. We went to the Western Clash and we didn't do well. Our roster isn't cutting it. Now you can't make that change. You can't say, oh, if we get rid of one guy, we can bring in someone else and do better. You can't make that swap. But at the same time, as some people might say, well, they made it, they should stay there, whatever. At the same time, teams that start off at the bottom phase of the season, right? They don't magically just all of a sudden become out of the Crucible range, right? I mean, we're seeing this is like some of the same teams in Crucible range now are already in Crucible range now. So imagine if they could get that half season, like maybe one of our guys isn't performing very well, maybe there's some personality issues, we can swap out him, bring in somebody new, get some new blood, and then try to not get Crucible, right? I mean, if you do bad at the start of phase 1, you're kind of just like, well, we're in Crucible, not much we can do about it. So I don't know.
How would you change things, EKevin? I'm curious to hear your perspective on this.
It's hard to say like what's good and bad for the scene because like I haven't been around for a lot of it, so I can't say I don't have any past experiences to gauge or for metric use, but I think this is just me personally, but I think giving them an X amount of like swap outs or like swaps at the end. So like let's say a team goes in for spring, right? They play. I think like the teams that already have played one full like season. I think they should be given like one or two like options to swap out for the next phase. I think the teams that like immediately go in should not get the option because they don't like philosophically as a team they don't know what's good what they're doing right or wrong until they've played against the other teams in the league, right? So I think the teams that already have played, they should be given an option to have like a swap out because them as players know like if something's wrong or not. So them as like teams should have the option to be able to swap out a player if they deem fit.
That's definitely fair. It adds some context, and I do think you have a lot of value to add to the overall conversation. I mean, you're a heavyweight in the amateur scene, I'd say. Heroes of the Dorm winner, a strong contender, HCC caliber player. It's interesting to me because like, I think if they do relax the roster swaps at all, you almost have to have 3 Crucibles a year.
Mm.
My main reasoning is this, like, Droplets was kind of memeing in the chat earlier, but imagine the animals are almost like, you guys just about getting in this place where it's like you guys making it to the Crucible is almost destined. And then Navintic knocks on the door and they're like, hey, EBros, come join our team. And then you guys join Navintic. Droplets and the rest of the animals are just like, okay, I guess we got not only the rest of this phase, but we got to put a new team together. If we try to find replacements, our points are now 0.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
And then if we don't make it in the Crucible, we got a whole other 6 months. I think I might just go do something else. So, like, I like the idea of making more flexible roster options.
Well, here's something I want to bring up, and I do feel like from a standpoint of Papa Blizzard, right? We got a picture of Papa Blizzard, right? They look at these, like Papa Blizzard comes down, he looks at these teams and he's like, you're all my children, right? I got to take care of you. I got to do what's best for you, right? I got to look out for you. Some parents are really strict, right? They're be home at a certain time, don't go out partying, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes some kids need that kind of strictness in order to do well, right? So let's look at what happened with HGC, right? They had one roster swap at the end of the the split. You get to make that one roster swap, right? And then Blizzard was like, okay, you kids have been very good this year. Okay, so we're gonna up it. I'm gonna give you 2 roster swaps. And then what happened in a week? Whole team got exploded and disbanded. We had to fill in another team, right? So they're probably like, okay, no, I can't give you guys anything anymore because clearly when I give you guys an inch, you just take a mile, right? So maybe they're probably like, we can't all of a sudden make it looser because what's going to happen? Look at B-Step, right? Like maybe that's how they feel about it. Maybe they're like, I can't trust my kids with the power to roster swap. I don't know.
Well, I mean, in that immediate case, I feel like there was some part that Blizzard had to play there because I guess the majority of the team did leave, but I don't know. I guess I see where you're coming from. I just feel like they maybe B-Step could have found more players. Like there was a 3-player swap out, right? Because like if it's only one player, if a team says I can only trade one player, right? Yeah. And you understand like one player, then at most a team can get rid of is potentially like, if all teams reach out to one team, then that's like the only way that team really falls apart, right? All teams are like, we want one of your players, right? But then when they up it to 2, it makes it to where like if 2 teams sat down and said we want to just completely rip one team apart, they could do that, right? Like 2 teams could go in and say we want 2 of your players each, and then now that team's left with 1 player and it's done, right? So just saying, like it makes it a lot easier to do that than if you have to have 4 teams get together and rip the whole team apart, right? So I don't know. I ain't even considered a conspiracy theory that boils in with all that.
I'm saying maybe some people dislike me, Steph, and they're like, we got to get him out of the scene. I don't know. There could have been some conspiracy theory there. I'm not saying there isn't, right? You can't say that there isn't, right? Think about it.
Just floating the idea.
Think about it. Just putting that out there. Think about it.
Okay. I feel like we understand EKevin and EToby's position in the current HGC situation. I personally feel like you guys are more than capable of getting on HGC teams either in tandem or individually. So I wanna shift fire as we start to wind things down. There's a patch today that came out. Features a new hero, a new map, some changes, some pretty key players. Toby, question for you: with the addition of Anna into the fold, and some of the recent changes like Brightwing, getting kind of reworked, Rhaegar got some changes in today's patch. How do you feel about the current meta for supports?
Pretty much permanently double support, I think. And I think probably I talked about this with my brother, and when Anna first came out, my brother said Anna's probably just the new Taz, except with more utility. Because Taz, all he does is sit back, shield, and then if he has the opportunity, just wall. Or if he gets icon, he just uses his body and tanks. And it's probably gonna be the same way. She just sits back, heals, sleep darts, throws grenade and heals, or if you have an all-in comp, you can grenade the enemy team to reduce their healing, and they can't save anyone if they get burst down. So and then if we're talking specifically about the change to heroes, Brightwing, I think Brightwing got a pretty big buff overall, having her Peekaboo give her E onto her where she phase shifts on, and her hyper shift getting an additional cooldown reduction. I think it's pretty big. You get to shield more in team fights, and the addition of phase shield applying to yourself as well as the target. That means Brightwing doesn't have to necessarily E herself out if she's in a bad position because of where the person she targeted is, or she can take a little bit of damage and then walk back. That's for a little bit of diversity in what she can do, other than just shield and then leave. Or she has to waste her E frivolously. And for Rhaegar, the Rhaegar nerfs was kind of interesting, I will say. I'd say it's an overall nerf because I don't think chain heal should be used to really AoE heal per se. It's nice that it's becoming more AoE heal, but I think just removing the strength in his primary healing is his single target healing is a bit much. So, but the meta shifting to just seems like more strictly double support, and with additions like Kel'Thuzad and what might be Junkrat. We don't know much about Junkrat, what he might actually do, but like KT, it seems like a lot of mages got spiked up, and I think Joanna is going to be extremely strong with all of her reworked talents and abilities. So I don't know. It just seems more like super sustain, and whoever has the better macro game at this point, it seems like.
Okay. Shifting over towards EKevin. Now that I definitely wanted to ask him about the current meta. How do you feel about the new Johanna in the current tank meta?
Let me pull up the tanks, because I don't know why I'm having a brain fight right now.
Well, have you had a chance to play the new Johanna?
A little bit. I try moded her to see exactly what some of her abilities do, or new talents do. I will say, I think she is going to be an immediate she's gonna be the new ETC, where it's the whole dynamic on draft and or her playstyle is more we need this character because she literally does everything. She does the damage, she sieges, she wave clears, she literally does everything, and she never dies. I don't know, the way they reworked her, I feel it's a very unnecessary buff to what she already was able to do. But that's just my own opinion. I think the meta right now is I want to say, so in HGC we've been seeing a lot of this dancing, let's see who can dance better, or who can do the flamingo better, you know, like the double tank, like double frontline, double support, like hyper carry. It's cheeky. I like it. It's very like, oh, I can do this better than you kind of style. But I feel like with the addition to like all these new heroes like Ana, Kel'Thuzad, Garrosh, and like potentially like the Joanna rework, and like furthermore, like if they keep reworking these heroes, I feel like we're gonna like start seeing a lot more like, oh hey, you're trying to stall me out, I'll just blow someone up type of thing start popping out, you know. So I agree. Right now we see like a lot of like slow double support, double frontline kind of things, but I feel like as we get more heroes, like play styles will be more diverse. Like back when I first started playing the game, it was like a little like I reference this a lot, but like I feel like this game is a very like perpetual. It goes in a perpetual triangle. Like there's poke comps, there's all in comps, and there's like this like sustain comps, and like we just keep rotating around this triangle. Like there's no breaking the cycle.
Now you're talking Game of Thrones. I heard breaking the wheel. I feel like that's what's going on, right? So how can we break the wheel that is this triangle, EBros? What is the solution? What can Blizzard do to remove those kind of three core comps from taking control?
Without like gushing about my own philosophy about this game, I feel like Blizzard's doing a good. Actually, I'll be in the rare like 1%. I think Blizzard's doing a great job with the way they're designing like the new heroes, their balance changes. I think they're doing a fantastic job. So I think they know what I'm one of those kind of players that like I don't worry too much about what I want out of the characters. I just want to like, you know, learn how to play the characters at their best and like learn how to play them competitively. So like personally, I think they're doing a fantastic job. I believe I have full faith in Blizzard. I think they know what they're doing. So I'll just leave it at that.
God bless Papa Blizz, right?
Yeah.
Papa Blizz. I definitely think there's something like a rock paper scissors angle to the whole poke comp, dive comp, sustain comp idea. I do think that double support's gonna be sticking around for a while.
I agree.
Like Anna's inclusion, just it's like, wait, so she's a hero that can stop healing altogether, but she can't heal herself. Like, you gotta have another support for Anna in competitive play, in my opinion. You're doing anything else at your own peril. So I mean, if that says to me, if anything, like that's the direction they're gonna go, which is fine. Like I just think they should try to balance it in a way, and for the most part, they have the where if you do go for double support, like you can still be outbursted, or if you try to, you know, you can.
I do like what Droplet said in chat though, and this is what I want too: the meta in which there are no tanks and no supports. I want the 5 assassin meta. I want the full NA Hero League meta. Once that hits HGC, once we get the 5 assassin HGC, that's when NA will definitely take BlizzCon. Like, there's no way we'd ever lose that setup.
How memeing, how trolling are you in this? You really want no support, no tank?
No, that'd be terrible. People would be very upset about that.
Okay, good.
But we would totally win it, though. I'm not that wasn't a meme.
Oh, dude,
we're so practiced in 5 assassins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it was just like we all just random, you know, we auto select on an international NA every day.
Yeah, if we had to pick Gazlo, Murky in all of our games, we'd win. I mean, we already proved it, right? We actually won with Murky, the first one, so we can do it.
Rip droplets. But all right, we've hit our hour and a half mark here. It's been a very interesting and insightful conversation with the EBros. Like I said, Aether, I feel like whenever we invite someone on here, the conversations get a hair more deep than our guests initially anticipate. But the idea is like, I don't know, I want to learn about people. Like I said, it always fascinates me. We see these players do all these amazing plays, And as a caster, I don't even really get to see their gameplay for the most part. But when I do have a chance to sit down and have a prolonged conversation with them, I like to get inside their heads and understand what makes them tick, what's their drive to continue to put the time and effort that's required to play at such a high level. So I definitely thank you, EKevin, EToby, EBros, for joining us and giving us a glimpse into the life of what it takes to be a Heroes of the Dorm winner, to talk about your aspirations and things. You shared a lot with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to chatting with you guys again when you're on HGC teams and everything else. Dropless. I don't know why you got banned. Don't try to say Glogan would be HGC MVP. Dude, you give him Gazlo on HGC stage?
Oh, game's over.
There you go. There's your new animal right there, EBros. Get Glow. You guys like to experiment? Look, I'm just saying. But we missed May. She'll be here next week. Hopefully she gets out of traffic. Hopefully she gets out of traffic by next
Totally
Tuesday.
forgot about that. Oh my god. She's been in traffic for like 4 hours now. That's insane.
But it's been our pleasure to have the EBros of the Animals, UTA, Here's the Dorm winners, with us on the show. Aether, always a pleasure, man.
Of course.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Be sure to use the hashtag HHLive. Let us know what you want to talk about. Always appreciate the ongoing conversation that you guys add to the table. It means a lot.
Make sure you guys follow the EBros on Twitter, though. Before we leave, make sure you follow them. They're on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Plug your Twitters, guys. Come on.
You can follow me at EKevin_Hots. I don't tweet that much, but yeah.
Yeah, mine's EToby_Hots, and I just like everyone's posts, so we
gotta
follow
get
him, he'll follow you back.
We gotta get that dank meme profile picture for EToby where he's wearing the shades and the backwards cap.
Okay,
He's gotta look like MC Hammer out there. That's what I want. That's what I want.
That's my dream. Yeah.
Do it for me. But for now, that's going to conclude episode 13 of Heroes Hype Live. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. See you next Tuesday and tomorrow night. All right. Well, you guys are looking for a few players. You're going to be able to field the team for the last week of Heroes Hype Tempo Storm. It's big, man.
I think we're going to play with friends. I'm not too sure, but be sure to check us out. I'm pretty sure we're going to play in it.
Okay. All right. It's the last week, man. You got to get those points. Make sure you secure that top 5 spot. The finals will be on October 11th, so you should have time to get all that situated by then. But for now, we're going to call it a night. Thank you guys so much. See you later.
See you in the Nexus.